Left to rot by the salt marsh since 1954, this rare FJ-2 Fury is covered in a destructive shroud of marine scale. The sea air has completely calcified the paint. Underneath this white crust, the duralumin is dangerously pitted. The FJ-2 was a naval legend, a carrier-capable masterpiece. Seeing it sunken in tidal mud is heartbreaking. The main airway is entirely choked with ocean debris. We need to check if salt water flooded the compressor face. The wing skin is deeply cratered. This level of marine oxidation can thin the structural panels past saving. Salt crystals have grown right into the panel joints, forcing the riveted seams apart from the inside out. The structural steel hardware has turned back into soil. Sea air has completely disintegrated the underlying fasteners, forcing open the access bays. The latches are completely frozen by 40 years of maritime salt exposure. The avionics bay is a total disaster. Salt water has shorted and corroded every single electrical block inside. Copper grounding straps have dissolved into green powder. Every circuit will need to be remade from scratch. The flight control hinges are solid brick. Seawater has essentially welded the steering mechanics together over the years, exposing severe stress corrosion cracking. Saltwater expansion has split the structural aluminum right along the rivet lines. A final look before recovery. Pulling this $2 million legend from the tide line is an immense task. Safely inside the restoration clinic. Now, we begin the aggressive physical intervention to strip away decades of sea damage. Grinding through the calcified marine scale, the high-speed wire wheel shatters the salt shell, opening up the baseline metal. The aggressive cleaning reveals the true depth of the damage. We must strip every pocket of salt out entirely, chiseling off literal rock sheets of sea mineral. The airgun shatters the layer down to the underlying skin panels. The leading-edge slat hardware is completely fused. The impact gun fractures the seizure before the bolt head can shear. One by one, the original structural screws surrender. We are systematically dismantling 40 years of maritime neglect. A massive mechanical crack brings the main flap bracket free. The internal alloy fittings are finally accessible. Dismounting the front slats. Beneath the wing skin, the original roller tracks are completely impacted with hardened marine grime. The internal bearings are entirely locked by salt-baked grease. Every flight control roller will require manual replacement. Gutting the dashboard structure. We pull the primary instrument frame out to begin individual gauge preservation. Unbolting the vertical stabilizer fin assembly. Separating the main tail panels gives us full access to the control tracks. Sandblasting the deep tail fin corrosion. The high-pressure abrasive media sweeps away the deep pitted craters cleanly. The media gun eats right through the pitting. Watch as the rough oxidation vanishes, leaving a flat gray finish. Microscopic craters are completely smoothed out. The base metal is structurally sound, ready for metal reconstruction. Applying chemical paint stripper to the old squadron insignia. The solvent cuts through decades of sun-baked marine lacquer, scraping away the blistered lacquer coatings. The spatula reveals pristine, high-grade naval aluminum hidden below the scale. Pure duralumin, unmarred by 40 years of sea air. The metal grain is in exceptional baseline condition. The complete physical breakdown is finalized. Stripped entirely bare, the legendary naval jet is ready for structural reconstruction. Rebuilding the pitted intake lip with a TIG torch. We drop individual beads to fill the sea salt craters completely, shaping a fresh trailing edge wing panel. The English wheel coaxes a perfect aerodynamic radius into the new sheet. Riveting the trailing edge into place. A heavy steel bucking bar behind the panel lines creates a perfect internal seal. Leveling out the fresh repair beads. The pneumatic block blends the metal patch areas down until the surface is uniform. Every secondary accessory drive gear must match original tolerances exactly. Seawater oxidation inside the front bearing housing requires total replacement. The blades slip home with a single click. These interlocking roots absorb thousands of pounds of centrifugal loading safely. The replacement fuel lines are completely hand-formed from stainless steel. They feed the massive burner rings without restricting fuel pressure. Safety wire ensures these fittings stay locked despite intense turbine vibration patterns. An unexpected twist prevents catastrophic line separation.
Slinging the J-47 jet core back home. After 40 years of dark coastal neglect, this weapon system gets its heart back.
Sealing the cell walls blocks highly volatile fuel vapors from contacting cockpit electrical wire lines. Every seam is double-checked.
crimping hydraulic lines to withstand 3,000 pounds of operational force. A loose sleeve shears completely clear instantly.
Testing the primary wing fold cylinders. The heavy outer panels swing skyward symmetrically without a single hitch detected. Driving flat countersunk duralumin rivets locks the aerodynamic slats together. Each rivet head must seat flush under impact parameters. The rivet line matches standard factory blueprints perfectly. The seam disappears entirely under the satin skin prep. Safety wire locks down every flight steering assembly link. Vibration from high-speed runway tracking will shake loose generic nuts.
Stripping back 40 years of shorted electrical lines. This fresh copper link brings power back safely to cockpit instruments.
Soldering pin connection seals out humidity permanently. An unexpected twist occurs when original circuit boards register full electrical continuity, sliding the tailcap assembly into final position. The sleek, swept-wing jet silhouette is fully structurally integrated once more.
Packing the main flight control bearings with low-temperature grease ensures fluid mechanical stick movement vectors at extreme altitudes.
Cycling the flight control system's on-line pressure. The giant trailing surfaces respond instantly without a single loose link. Bending the tail control retention pins flat. This tiny steel link locks the entire flight directional command string, masking off the tactical boundary lines on the spine. This layout path defines where the bold squadron accent trims land. Spraying the matte black nose anti-glare section. This prevents direct sunlight glints from blocking the pilot's forward visibility. Peeling off the tape lines blocks out the primary reward. Flawless definition emerges with zero edge bleed underneath. Hand lettering the original tactical warning stencils brings museum accuracy. Generic mass-produced decal sheets cannot duplicate this crisp finish. A final polishing sweep over the clean, deep blue panels. The surface sheen matches factory specs down to the letter.
The hangar doors open up to the open air. The Fury steps out under the sun for her flight check.
Out on the open concrete tarmac line, the high-contrast blue livery catches the midday sun with striking clarity.
Locking down the ground chocks. Standard pre-flight safety protocols are verified before the master fuel delivery lines are cracked.
Stepping inside the cockpit front office. The restored dial arrays look exceptional under direct natural canopy lighting. Fuel cell pumps are fully energized. The low-pressure lines prime the engine fuel manifolds without a single drop dropping. Cracking the mechanical throttle lever forward. An unexpected twist catches when original gate detents snap into perfect physical alignment. Flipping the master engine starter switch. The inertia plates spin up, carrying raw power to ignite the J-47 jet core. The compressor wheels scream to ignition velocity. Massive air volume draws through the throat, clear of debris.
The main jet engine fires into life. 40 years of coastal boneyard silence shattered by an incredible wall of thrust.
Oil pressure lines lock solid in the safe green zone. The core parameters are fully holding to operational baseline values.
Releasing the flight line parking brakes. The Navy jet moves forward instantly under her own rolling inertia lines.
Taxiing onto the active strip line. The independent steering tracks perfectly, leading the sweeping delta profile down the runway center.
Lined up on the primary strip. Clear of ground constraints, this historic naval fighter is finally ready to meet the sky.
Full military takeoff power. 6,000 pounds of thrust unleashes down the center of the runway.
Passing 120 knots. The swept wings bite the air, lifting the nose gear off smoothly.
The main mounts break clear of the asphalt deck. The sky opens up instantly as flight operations begin.
Gear up and locked flush. The naval swept-wing interceptor cleans up her profile, climbing away from the coastline.
Cruising at 10,000 feet. The visibility out of this canopy is legendary, tracking across the high sky. Banking hard over the horizon line. Rebuilding her structure by hand has returned a carrier legend to the fleet.
Slicing through the clear mountain air currents. Every component is fully functioning back to standard technical parameters.
The control forces are incredibly solid and responsive. It feels like an extension of your own arms up here. A victory roll to celebrate her rescue. The open sky is where she belongs, never again to face dark neglect. Pulling the throttle levers back to cruise idle. Systems are cooling down normally, holding solid hydraulic line pressures. Fuel consumption figures track exactly with standard charts. The main fuel block holds flawless mechanical balance. Heading back to base into the golden sunset. A 40-year sleep under the boneyard brush, completely rewritten. dropping the landing gear struts for final approach. The heavy lock lines cycle, forcing the massive gear legs down. 3 green cockpit indicators light up safe. The main struts are down and mechanically locked for recovery.
Crossing the threshold at 985 knots. Keeping the nose up to let the main mounts touch down first.
Touchdown on the active strip. The main mounts absorb the contact beautifully, tracking completely straight down the deck.
The nose wheel is down. The deceleration tracks perfectly straight as we roll back out to the taxiway apron.
Cutting the ignition, the massive J-47 turbojet spins down into a quiet, well-earned rest inside the bay. The turbine face is completely silent once more. The long road from the marsh mud back to flight is done. Canopy unlocked and sliding back. Stepping down after a completely successful flight check profile. Reclaimed history. A final wipe over the fuselage markings to clear flight water. The paint lines look completely factory fresh. Every instrument dial face is perfectly clear, calibrated, and operational to original Cold War specifications.
From a forgotten grave of salt and marsh mud, back to an absolute masterpiece of early naval power.
The completed Fury stands tall on the showroom floor. A $2.5 million piece of living history. The paint finish holds the depth of a mirror glass block. A completely flawless paint execution down to the last rivet, preserving an irreplaceable icon of early swept-wing naval flight engineering. Rebuilt by hand to protect our history. The gloves are off. The build files are closed. This naval legend will never face abandonment again. We stripped away 40 years of boneyard degradation. We returned a majestic swept-wing asset back to the fleet. The wing alignment tracking shows absolute geometric symmetry. She sits exactly as she did leaving North American's factory floor. Her tail numbers are locked into the registry rolls once more, securing her position on the historical flight log. Stepping back to view the final masterpiece lines. Clean panels, running turbine, historical victory completely achieved.
Never give up on an abandoned classic. Beneath the grime rests an extraordinary piece of aviation heritage.
The 1954 North American FJ-2 Fury, lost to the boneyard marsh, completely restored by hand, completely reborn for history.
Reclaimed from the dark marsh edge, standing proud in the gold beam. The Fury is home forever. A multi-million-dollar treasure saved from oblivion. Watch our next build to see history rise again. Every fuel valve component has been stripped down and recalibrated back to operational parameters cleanly. Reskinning the structural wing joints ensures absolute load rigidity under tactical flight profiles safely. Lubricating the guide rails avoids friction binding lines during canopy actuation events down the road. The classic lines of the North American design are fully restored, reclaimed from an outdoor marsh platform. From a sun-baked blinded windscreen assembly back to immaculate optical transparency. No steps skipped. The paint finish shines perfectly under the showroom panels. An incredible museum-grade restoration verified. A multi-million-dollar supersonic fighter saved from decay. Rebuilt by hand, preserved forever for history.